Hi, I'm Katie from What Katie Did, and I've got something rather special for you, especially if you're into waist cinches and corsets. Last Friday we did an amazing shoot with Sugar Rush, and for the first time we shot the same model with the same lighting in all of our waist shaping garments, from our lightweight and best-selling Waspy all the way through to our brand new corset, which will be revealed at the end of this film, so please keep watching. Our Glamour Waspy is one of our most popular items both sides of the Atlantic. It's a quite narrow Waspy, and it's made from a single layer of Paramesh. It's reinforced around the waist with elastic, and it should give a noticeable difference to your waistline. People often think that our shapewear uses plastic boning. We don't use plastic boning in any of our shapewear at all, and these are the lightweight bones we use for our Glamour Waspy. They really are tiny, but they stand up to the job, and they help minimise the weight of the item, and they help give a smooth line and hold everything in place, so that they're certainly up to the job without adding any weight or bulk. So if anyone does ask you, or if you are curious, we do actually use spiral steel boning in all our shapewear. I've got an interesting story about this. When I first started designing many years ago, I was trying to make a Waspy for the first time, and I was at the factory, and they just couldn't get their heads around how to sew it together, and how to get the curve and how to follow the lines, because obviously it's a lot easier to sew a line straight than it is to follow curves, and the curves with corsets they do vary from panel to panel, so they were having difficulty making it. And I'd bought one of my designer pieces along with me, designer Waspy, and they said, well, they've got the curve, they've done something weird, can we cut it up? And I was like, yikes. I mean, this piece I got it on sale, but it was still, it was retail £200, $250. So I'm like, well, if you really have to. And they were like, yes, please. It'll show us how it's made, and we'll learn from it, and we'll be able to crack it. And I'm like, okay, break it up. And so they started unpicking it, and I could hear muttering going on at the other side of the room. And they came over to me and they said, yeah, we've got it. We know what it is. And they said what these people have done is they've used plastic boning, and they've snapped it all into pieces, so that's why it bends. And I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, no, that's a mistake. I mean, because if it's plastic boning, it can either bend and not bend back into shape, like with this one, with the spiral steel boning, if you bend it, it springs back. Or alternatively, the plastic breaks, and then you get a really sharp bend, and there's really nothing you can do with it. And once a bone is broken, it can dig in and cause all kinds of problems. And I just couldn't believe this premium brand was using plastic boning. So no, at What Katie Did, no plastic boning at all. Secondly, we have our Glamour Waist cincher, which has been in production for many years now. It's a longer length than our Waspy, which means it gives a very smooth line under clothing, and it's designed to meet where your bra finishes, so you don't get any back rolls or anything with the Glamour Waist cincher, because it's a smooth line from waist all the way up to your bra line, and it's been designed specifically for that. It also has 6 removable garters or suspenders, so you can wear with or without stockings, which makes it extremely versatile. Again, it's made from Powermesh, and it's got an internal elastic waist tape for shaping, and it's got an additional Powermesh waist tape as well, additional layer of Powermesh around the waist to give a nice smooth line, not just a jagged pulling in bit where the elastic is, but a nice smooth graduated line to your waist. Both our Glamour Waspy and our Glamour Waist cincher are ideal if you're new to waist shaping and you want to put something on and go out for an evening. You don't have to worry about it pinching or nipping or being uncomfortable. Once you're in, and it might be a struggle to get in, once you're in, you're fine, and you can wear it all day, and there'll be no discomfort at all. So if you've left it too late, if you thought, oh, I'll lose a couple of inches off my waist in time for the wedding, or you've got a big cocktail event or something and you just want to define your figure a little bit without stressing or worrying about it, then a Glamour Waspy or waist cincher is ideal. And again, if you've got a vintage dress, because vintage dresses are often cut smaller on the waist, and it might be made of old material, you might be worried about the seams going on the waist because it is super tight. By wearing a Waspy or a waist cincher, it will just give you that little bit of leeway and definition. So now we've got the first of our big reveals, and if you've been watching our YouTube channel for a while, you would have already had a preview of this. Well, our Demi Paramesh waspy corset is in production now, and it'll be here hopefully for the end of May. And we shot it on Sugar Rush on Friday, and she looked absolutely amazing in it. Now, this waspy style is one that you pull on over your head, and I have to admit that this does make it slightly more tricky, and it does make it a bit of a struggle. But if you look at Sugar Rush, when she turns around, you'll see that at the hip line it is completely smooth. Now, when you wear a corset with a busk, quite often you can see the bottom of the busk at the front, whereas removing the busk means that the front is absolutely smooth and all lines are minimalised, so you can wear this under the tightest fitting dress and you're not going to see any lumps or bumps at all. So this piece is just amazing. Once you've gone through the drama of pulling it over your head and lacing it up, you're good to go all day. And because it's stretch, again, it's comfortable enough to wear all day from day one. We've also designed a more traditional Demi Paramesh corset which features a busk front, and this will be with us by the end of June. Both of our Demi corsets are made from 2 layers of stretchy power mesh and include a stretch double layer elastic waist tape, which again stretches with your body. It doesn't stretch as much as our Glamour Waspies and waist cinchers, but it does have a bit of give, which makes it more comfortable to wear if you're not used to full-on corsets. If you're used to wearing shapewear already, then you should be able to wear our Demi corsets straight off without worrying about any waist training or breaking in or anything like that, because they do stretch and they do move with your body. In addition, they do have the lacing at the back, so you can loosen or tighten depending on your mood for that day. Back to spiral steel boning. So this is the teeny tiny boning we use in our Glamour Waspy, and for our Glamour Waist cincher and our Demi corsets we use a much heavier bone. This is the one we use, and there's a lot of myths about spiral steel boning, and people want to know how many bones we use and what make of bones. And when it comes down to it, the bones don't make the corset. It's the cut that is the important thing. So when you're looking at corsets or waist cinchers or waist trainers, then you know how many bones it has isn't really a big issue. You should be, as long as they're metal, you're good, and you should be able to trust the designer or the company making it to use the right amount of bones. What the bones do is that they actually keep the rest of the garment in place. So for example, if we had a light chiffon over here, if there wasn't a bone there, it would just crinkle like tissue and it'd fall down. Whereas if we had a bone holding it up, then it would hold the fabric up. And this is basically what boning does. It's to keep the corset or the cincher in place and to stop it wrinkling and coming out of shape. So now for our second big reveal, and yes, the Vamp corset is back. Or not back quite yet. It's actually going to be back the end of June, but this is Sugar Rush looking absolutely amazing in our new Vamp corset. We've tweaked the design just a little bit, and I'm sure you'll agree it looks absolutely amazing on her. And the second piece of exciting news is we're doing an extreme Vamp version, and this is actually in stock now. For the last few months, people have been asking me what corset I've been wearing, and I've been a bit sheepish on answering, and I'm like, oh, it's this one or it's that one, or you know, I often say it's our Extreme Morticia. But to tell you the complete truth, I've actually moved on to our Extreme Vamp, but I wanted it to be thoroughly tested and I wanted to be 100% happy with it before I released it. So this is just so exciting for me to be able to put this into production. It's our curviest style yet, so you really do need to check the measurements, but it's ideal for those of you who are already waist training on a regular basis, or perhaps you're already super curvy, so you might already have a small waist or might be very, very squishy in relation to your hip and your rib. It differs slightly to our Morticia, where the rib on our Extreme Vamp and our Vamp is cut closer to the rib, and I know some of you do find the Morticia flares slightly at the rib. Well, the Vamp will be a lot more suitable for you because it's cut. It still has the amazing hip shape, but it's cut just a little bit slightly closer to the ribs. If you take a look at Sugar Rush in our Vamp corset, you'll see that it fits her absolutely perfectly. Now, when we when we fit models on corsets, it comes straight out of the packet and we put it straight on the model. There's no warming up, or the model doesn't have a chance to wear it for a few days before to get the corset used to her body and season it, as people say. So it is as if you purchased it and put it on, that's how it would be. Now, if you look closely at the extreme morticia, you can see that there is a slight gaping to the top of the rib, and this is where breaking in or seasoning your corset comes into play, and I'll be discussing this in my next video. So take care, and I'll catch up with you soon.